Well, this was surprising news, at least to me anyway.
Okay.
Dr. Pepper just passed Pepsi as the number 2 soda. Sprite, they say, is hot on its heels, and within probably a year or two, it will move into the number 3 spot, pushing Pepsi down to number 4, behind Coca-Cola for market share.
So Pepsi's sliding down the list.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Huh. Interesting, yeah. I know some staunch drinkers of one specific thing. Not a ton, but some. Do you have you don't really drink a lot of it?
I don't drink a lot. Coke. That's the go-to.
Mine too. If I'm going to drink one of them, a regular soda, it's going to be a Coke.
Cherry Pepsi's good if you mix it with rum.
I like cherry Pepsi too. Yeah. I think I'm not a Dr. Pepper fan. It's made it up to number 2.
That's me. I'm not a Dr. Pepper fan at all.
I don't really care for it much, but I know people that are addicted to it, seemingly.
Sprite, if you're sick.
That's the only time you drink a Sprite?
Mm-hmm. Only time.
See, I think when
Sprite, 7-Up, because it's so ingrained in my body that this is when I drink it.
Yeah.
That if I drink it outside of there, I feel like I'm going to be sick, or I feel sick.
Now, I will say
it's a weird thing.
Mm-hmm. When it's hot, I like it better than like a Coke. If it's 100 degrees and you're going to drink one of them, that's the one, because it's to me is more refreshing.
Yeah.
But
I can't do it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have I guess it doesn't make me want to throw up and make me think about being sick in the 3rd grade or anything.
It's like orange Jell-O. The only time I can have orange Jell-O is when I'm recovering from being sick. If I eat it outside of there, it's like, it's nasty.
I don't even know the last time I had Jell-O.
When I was sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it got me thinking about the big 3 of sodas and questions. And how about we play a little game called Fact or Fiction? Soda, fact, or fiction.
Okay. All right.
This morning.
All right. I'll play.
We'll test you out, test everybody out, play along with Bobby here, see how you do against him, if you would do better. Number 1 here. Coca-Cola was originally green. Fact or fiction?
I mean, I have no clue, but I'm going to say it's fiction. That seems like it'd be hard to sell if it were green.
It's a fact.
Really?
Coca-Cola at one time was originally green.
That's weird. Okay.
They turned it brown with coloring.
With coloring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody wants to buy this green thing.
So that tells me that really soda is green until they do some kind of coloring.
That's probably true. Yeah, some of it anyway.
Number 2 here. Dr. Pepper debuted in 1885, 1 year before Coca-Cola, making it the oldest soda.
I have heard, I don't know about the exact year, but I have heard Dr. Pepper is like the oldest soda brand there is. So I'm going to go fact.
That is a fact.
Yeah.
It is the oldest.
Yeah. It's the OG.
Who knew?
Out of Texas. I'd heard this before at some point.
By a pharmacist, not a pharmacist. Yeah, pharmacist.
I know that was Coke. I think Dr. Pepper?
I think all of them created it.
Okay, pharmacists
were making soda.
Yeah.
Concoctions.
Yeah.
Pepsi Cola got its name from the pepsin nuts used in its recipe. Fact or fiction?
Let's go with fact on that. That feels right.
That is the fact.
Yeah. What is a pepsin nut?
I don't know. I just don't like the sound of that. Nuts are being used to make Pepsi.
I had no clue. I wonder if they still are. Probably not.
Coca-Cola says only 2 people alive know the Coca-Cola recipe, and they aren't allowed to travel on the same plane in case it crashes.
It's like a whole Air Force One thing?
Yes, fact or fiction. And I guess if one passes or is no longer, they pass that along to somebody else, and then they become a number 2.
I'm sure it's closely guarded. I would say fiction. There's got to be more than 2 people.
Fact.
What about
They can never be in the same room at the same time. They can never.
Okay, all right. I mean, yeah. What about the people that put it together, like that mix it up every day?
They're no longer with us.
They know the recipe, right?
All right. Coke debuted the 2-liter bottle in 1970. Fact or fiction?
Let's go fact.
That is fiction. It was Pepsi.
Oh, Pepsi did it. Okay.
Pepsi did it first.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Pepper promoted itself as a hot drink for the winter of the 60s. If you heat it up, it turns thicker, almost
Ooh.
like apple cider.
Yuck.
So they promoted it as a hot drink in the winter.
Yes. Let's say fact.
It is a fact.
You
Ugh.
want some Dr. Pepper cider? If it's spiked with something, I'd still
thick
try
soda?
it. I'd try it.
Would
It's
you
just
try-
like spiked apple cider. You drink that. I would try some alcoholic Dr. Pepper drink.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Pouring a can of Pepsi on a car battery removes all of the corrosion.
So I've always heard that with Coke, not Pepsi. I'll say fiction. It does kind of work, though.
Fact.
Pepsi works, too.
Yeah, but you're supposed to disconnect the battery first. But
Yeah.
nobody ever does. I don't think you really do that anymore. And I don't think the recipe does it as well.
So that's what my grandpa and dad have always told me. Like, it used to work
It
better.
used to work good.
Yeah, it doesn't work the same. It still works, actually. It eats some of it, but it,
We don't have some of the same stuff in there
yeah, I guess the recipe I know has changed. So they say it used to work better.
because it used to be different. It
Uh-huh.
used to be way more potent. It
Yeah.
almost burned as it went down.
Yeah.
It was a good burn. Let's see here. Some state highway patrols use Coca-Cola to clean blood off the pavement after an accident. Fact or fiction?
I don't know. Let's say fact.
Fiction.
No, they don't.
It's just a ridiculous internet legend.
We're not going to waste a good Coke on that. Just dump a
Right.
bucket of water on that.
We clean it with the good stuff.
Yeah.
We drink the Coke.
Right.
Pepsi kills most breeds of cockroaches on contact.
I bet it does with the carbonation or something like that. Fact.
That is fact.
Yeah.
The one thing that can kill cockroaches, we
We drink
consume.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Good point. Yeah.
And lastly, the period after the abbreviation of doctor on the Dr. Pepper logo is actually a tiny drawing of a bottle of a soda. So actually the little dot
Mm-hmm.
is actually a little tiny bottle of soda. Fact or fiction?
I never have paid that close of attention. I'll say fiction. That seems too small.
That is fiction. There is no period after doctor
Okay.
because they removed it in the 1950s.
Because punctuation sucks, and they didn't
It was
want
more readable when you did
more readable. Okay. Okay, that's fair.
You didn't do too bad.
I did not terrible. Yeah, not terrible.
Hopefully everybody else did as good as you or better.
Yeah.
There's a little soda fact or fiction this morning as Dr. Pepper rises to number 2. Yeah, Bobby did pretty good on the soda fact or fiction.
So
It looks like you did pretty good too. Pretty
Yeah.
decent.
I watched some like history of these sort of companies and stuff like that. I find those things so crazy interesting. I don't know why. I remember one from years and years ago. This is a kind of a fun little fact. At one point, according to the one like documentary thing I'd watched, Coke had a chance to buy out Pepsi like in the 20s or something like that. And they passed on it because they didn't consider them a real threat. Because at the time, they were not a big company. Mm-hmm. Of course, grew into the largest competitor. And
It wasn't until that taste testing thing until
yeah. But then
they were doing okay, but it was
Pepsi ended up with a bunch of other brands that also compete, that were very popular as well, that became the game eventually of we have other options, and now we own even more of the market share because at one time I used to love RC Cola.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it's Dr. Pepper owned itself and 7-Up, and they all own themselves now. Coke and Pepsi own a lot of the leaders.
I was going to say, so I think somebody bought RC. There was another one like an RC.
There are a bunch of those.
That was kind of it was a smaller local,
Mm-hmm.
more
Regional.
local, regional.
Mm-hmm.
You could only get it in certain regions.
Sure.
But I remember having. I can't remember what it was though.
I remember drinking what? Do you remember drinking Big Red or knowing about Big Red? It's not like a Coke. It's a red, obviously.
It's more like a Dr Pepper, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like a cherry flavored, I think, soda or something
Maybe
like
it was
that.
maybe it was a cherry Coke
Yeah.
flavor.
Yeah, but it had a red color too.
Yes.
There used to be a lot. I'm sure some of them still exist, but a lot of the regional things and knee high and all this sort of stuff.
That's where part of me wants to go to on Route 66 down just outside Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
They have that restaurant, kind of old school. They have like a lit up like gigantic bottle of soda.
Mm-hmm.
But they have I think it's 1,100 different sodas
Wow, that's crazy.
that you can buy
Uh-huh.
and take home.
Yeah.
Like you can buy the bottles and they're in bottles.
Yeah. Glass bottle. I saw something recently too about like root beers and things like that too. Root beer was like the most popular thing there at one time anyway. And
That's what I really like is a good root beer. But the problem is with root beer is you can get root beer that's like, oh, that's got too much of this in it. I don't like that. Or it's got
like all of them, root beer can vary drastically in flavor.
where a lot of like Coke, RC, some of those, they're very similar.
Oh yeah. Yeah, most of them are.
Root beer can really be different.
Most
I
of the
know there's
colas
what is
are
it? Is it
similar.
Fritz out of St. Louis.
Yeah, Fritz's. Yeah.
They bottle it right there. You can go tour it.
Yeah, it's on the Del Mar Loop right there. It's cool. I've never been inside. I've eaten across the street. If you haven't done that too, that's a cool joint. Off the soda topic, but Blueberry Hill is where Chuck Berry got his start and all that stuff. But they basically have like a toy museum inside. Have you been in there?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and everything's covered with like all these old toys that you check out while you eat. It's pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. But yeah, Fritz's, I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, I'm not a black licorice fan. No black licorice.
Me neither.
Good root beer though. A&W. That's still one of my favorites.
I still think A&W root beer is like
It's got
really kind of the top.
Culver's actually is pretty good.
I know somebody else that loves the Culver's root beer.
Is really good.
See, my wife used to love Barks. That was her favorite thing. She loved Barks root beer.
See, I'm more of a A&W.
But there's a difference. Like it's caffeinated where most of them aren't or something like that.
There is a difference.
She also liked the Dr. Pepper thing. She very much preferred Mr. Pibb. Which, to me, they're pretty close to the same thing. But she liked Pibb a little better.
A little better. Either a little sweeter or not quite as sweet.
It's something.
There's something.
Then there's all the fruit flavored ones. And this. There's like 40 varieties of Mountain Dew now.
Sometimes trying some of those root beers, that are from different regions. Some of them, I've had a few. I can't recall any right now, but I've had a few different ones. And sometimes they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's not very good at all.
Yeah.
People,
Just
every once in a while you run across one that's actually not bad.
It's almost like the microbrew thing. There's a lot of
Root beers are so varied.
yeah.
I don't know what it is, but man, they can vary so much.
Yeah.
But if you can get an A&W still in the old glass, frozen glasses, and you pour it out of a tap.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh!
Like the restaurants did. I loved those.
There was a restaurant, except I think they were plastic, and it kind of ruined it, but it still was good. But they kept them cold.
Mm-hmm.
In Salem Springs,
Mm-hmm.
when we'd go to swim meets, we'd always guys usually eat there because of that.
Yeah.
They had a tap thing, and it was
Soda fountain. Yeah.
no, it was literally like they give you the glass really cold, and you go out and you would.
Oh, you pulled it. Okay.
You pulled the lever, like like a beer
Yeah.
tap,
Huh.
and you would fill it up.
So the glass bottle thing, I remember when I was a kid, my uncle in Alabama had an auto repair shop, and they still had he had the old glass Coke bottle cooler. And they still delivered glass bottles to him for his cooler, the old Coke machine, and it was so good.
They taste better.
The little ones, the 8 ounces or whatever. They weren't the big. They weren't the 16s or whatever. They were like the little Coke bottles. And I always thought that was so good. Or an orange crush out of the glass bottle. I loved those too. I still probably would like that. I haven't had one in a long time. But yeah, I always thought that was the sweetest thing. And he basically, everybody just got him for free. He just kind of kept it stocked, and he kept a deal of quarters all the time to, here, go get you a Coke. Uncle Dale will give you the quarters, and then you go over there and get you a Coke. Because he wanted them. Because that's what he survived on. The best of my knowledge was memory. Glass Coke bottles and cigarettes.
Sometimes the Imagine Dragons are late to take the stage because they're playing video games.
Well, you get into a really good,
I'm on a run.
Hold on. Hold them off. It only builds anticipation, I suppose.
Halsey has lupus and another a rare T-cell lymphomatic disorder.
That sucks. Oh, the lupus thing can be pretty.
It's apparently in remission.
Oh, I didn't know the maybe the other things I don't know. Maybe lupus can go in remission too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but being managed and are in remission is what it says. But she'll have it forever, and it can come back at any time. Danny DeVito wants Rhea Perlman back, but he's afraid to ask. He still consults her on important decisions. They spend holidays and birthdays and even anniversaries together.
I read that this
They're
morning.
Just not together.
I didn't know they weren't, honestly.
Thank you, Anna. It's kind of America. Yeah, it's D-Day. Thought it was appropriate. It's got golf clubs on it because it's a golf shirt. But it's got an eagle, an American flag, a jet.
Oh, cool. I didn't see
Right
that. Yeah.
There's the jets. It's got a flag, a green with a pin.
Uh-huh. Could see that. I didn't see the jet.
Then there's the eagle. There's also
there's another
there's
eagle.
another eagle, kind
Okay.
of eagle. There's two different kinds of eagles.
Yeah, one's more like a crest or what. I don't know. If that's
And then
what
it
you call
says
that.
freedom and America.
It does say America. And I wore my
There's like a lot going on.
my shirt says champions because we are back-to-back World War champions.
So you had a very interesting discussion with a coworker.
Yeah,
Can we say? Can we? Yeah,
Let's just say
we just said
it's
it.
a coworker, and I won't say which one it is, but an interesting discussion with coworker the other day, and we were drinking, and it just brings out the best in this guy.
at the MBAs.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was at the MBAs. We were having a
I'm
having
so
a few
sad
drinks.
I was not a part of this
I
conversation.
think you'd left by then. You'd went somewhere else. So I don't know how the discussion wound up turning to this guy's cat, but it did. And this guy has a cat, and he started talking about these cat treats
Yeah.
that he has. And I've heard other people talk about it's a specific brand, and I guess cats are crazy for him. As this man described, my cat would walk across fire for these treats.
Wow.
Like, if you shake the can, it wants to maul you to get to the treats. This cat would do anything for these treats. And then he went on to talk to me. He has not yet done it. At that time, he may have already. About how he's got to try one. And that's how he phrased it. I have to try one of these treats.
because it's that good.
Because of the way my cat reacts to these treats. The curiosity is getting the best of him, and he wants to know, maybe they're awesome. Maybe we would think they're awesome. He has to know what they taste like. Is this a weird thing, or is he onto something here?
Well, first, I'm going to say I believe he's already tried them.
Do you?
He's throwing it out there just to see what kind of response he's going to get back from people if he goes, and you know
what?
The cat treats, they're amazing.
They're pretty good.
I now would walk through fire through them.
See, I don't think he has.
They don't change you at all.
Yeah. I think he's the kind of guy that if he had, he would have told us about trying them
probably would.
and what it was like. Yeah. But he claims he has not yet done that. But he's considering trying the treats because they've got to be that good.
Are they like a hard
Yeah,
type? Are they more real?
We didn't get that into it, but it
Okay.
sounded, he talked about the can shook and stuff. So I'm guessing they're
Like that
crunchy.
rattle?
Yeah. So that leads me to believe they're crunchy treats.
Yeah.
And he was asking, like, that's not bad, right? It can't hurt me, right?
I don't think it can hurt you.
And see, that was we come to the group consensus. We don't believe it would do any harm.
No, I don't think it would do any harm.
It
It
probably
might
is.
make you a little ill or like in sick because it's like, oh my God, that is the grossest taste I've ever tasted in my mouth.
I wouldn't start with a bowl full of them, like cereal or something.
Like whole handful.
Yeah,
Like-
maybe one. But if they're great, then I don't know. I guess we'll see. Now, if they're good enough, would you just walk around the office and eat them?
No, here's the thing. This is why I would never try it.
For fear that it's great.
For the fear that it is the most amazing, delectable thing I've ever tried. And then next thing you know, I've got these cat treats around, and then I'm eating them myself.
What's wrong with that, though?
I think people look at you a little weird if you just chow down on cat food
Look,
or
man,
cat treats.
it's
If I had like as you said, if you're walking around the hallways with a bag of cat food or treats
Mhm.
and you're just
snacking on them.
snacking on them like a bag of chips,
Yeah.
people are going to look at you weird and maybe call. We need to get.
You
him
think they
some
would
help.
call and have you taken in somewhere?
just to get looked at?
See, I think it's D-Day, and they fought for freedom for us to do things like this.
Yeah.
If cat treats are your jam, this is the beauty of the country, I think.
I would love to know if anybody else has tried cat treats. Our dog treats. I have ate a dog biscuit before.
I've heard of that. I've heard of people talking about
They
the dog
are
biscuits.
like a really super, like a milk bone,
dry.
very dry.
God, it looks dry.
You have it sucks the moisture completely out of your mouth.
Yeah, my dog makes it look like that, like it's the driest thing ever.
It's super dry.
See, and I imagine
and it
these
doesn't
are
have
too.
it does not. I did not try the meaty flavor.
Oh,
it
that's
was just a basic plain
probably what,
Jane milk bone.
you should get we should get the bacon flavor and see if it's real bacon flavor. Can
And-
we taste the bacon?
And yes, I had been drinking.
Sure.
I think that's part of it.
Yeah, this guy had been drinking this night too, and that's
That's how the
I think I want to try cat treats.
alcohol or weed leads to all sorts of you trying weird stuff.
It made me want to get an Uber and go get him a bag of cat treats just to try that night, but we didn't make it that far.
I would love to know if people have tried. I'd like to know now what the cat treat is.
I think he said it was Temptations.
I bought cat treats for my cat once, and it had no interest even in eating them.
I mean, he described his cat as willing to walk across fire for these. You just need to consult with him. Maybe you brought the wrong ones.
I bought the wrong ones, but I don't know if I really want to get my cat, crack cocaine treats.
Oh, okay. Hold on. We got some in on the live stream today. So Anna says, I bet he did try them. And then she said she's had the cookies, and they're good.
What cookies?
I'm guessing pet treat cookies. I don't know if it's dog or cat.
They have cookies?
Oh, yeah, they have dog cookies. Yeah, you
Like
didn't know.
cookies?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm trying those. I've heard that too, that actually a lot of times some of the dog ones can be better than the human snacks.
Because it doesn't have a million chemicals in it.
Well, it does have a million chemicals.
Oh, it
in
does?
Yeah. I think some. And I think some of the dog ones actually used to be better. But milk bones are not good for you. They're just as bad as any other stuff we have.
Mm.
If you look at the laundry list of ingredients.
I'm sure that's true. My dog loves the soft ones, not the. She'll eat the crunchy ones too. Don't get me wrong, the milk bone type things. But she loves the soft ones, which, anything that you can make and stay soft for a month in a bag. I don't know what's in it, but it'd not go bad. Yeah. There's something up.
Jake Gyllenhaal is legally blind.
Huh.
He's legally blind. And he's been that way all his life. His vision, holy moly.
Really bad.
His vision is 1250.
Oh, that's
1,250.
Wow. Huh. Okay.
That's like really bad.
Yeah.
I thought mine was bad, and I think the worst it's ever been before I had LASIK was like 800. It was not good.
That's not very
big
good.
Blurry E,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just because I knew that was an E.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're all E's.
That was an eye opener for me. I always had fantastic vision as a youngster. I had 2015 one time. I remember I took a sports physical back to a coach, a baseball coach. Here you go. He's like 2015.
Did you know a lot of almost all the major league players either have 2015 or 2015 or 2020?
Yeah. And then 2020 years, but I had 2015 at one time. And he was like, you should never take, you have the eyes of an eagle. You should never take a strike. You should know where you can see everything. Now, I doubt it's that good anymore. I don't feel like it's as good. But I went to an eye doctor appointment with my wife after we started dating at one point, like a year or so after, and her vision. I don't know what her numbers are exactly. It's not great. And when they started doing the big E, they were like, can you read, line 2 or 3? And she was like, no, I can't see it. And I was like, oh my God, you can't see that? Yeah. You're kidding me.
I used to.
And then he's like, all right, let's see you. And I read the bottom line. And he was like, okay, you're good.
No, I remember going several times until, like, place I would always go, they didn't know me. But it's like, walk in. All right, let's say, Tess, what's the lowest line you can read? And I go, well, the big blurry E.
Yeah.
I already know it's an E.
Yeah.
After that, I can't see. And they went, okay. And then they start testing for.
So mine now.
Like, okay, we know where to start.
It's interesting. I should probably go. That same tiny line that used to, I could still see that just as sharp as I needed to. That's not as sharp anymore. Now, I still know I can make it further down that rows than she can without it.
Yeah, that's what sucks is I actually had 2015 in one eye and 2020 in one eye after LASIK.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was amazing for however many years, and then it's wore off.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's, And I remember I had eye doctor tell me that once it, especially guys,
mm-hmm.
once it goes,
mm-hmm.
it just kind of goes really fast. Once the LASIK starts wearing, something about guys, it goes quick. He says women tend to, something about the muscles in your eye, women tend to hold on, like it's more of a gradual. But typically guys, once LASIK starts wearing off, because it does, it just wears off over time. But I still got over 12 years, 15 years.
Which is fantastic. And age does it to your eyes too. Yeah,
it was amazing.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
One of the coolest things I ever did.
I remember
so many ways.
Going with my dad when he finally broke down and went and got glasses. That was funny. Because he held on he had great eyesight as a young man too, but then I don't know what point in his 40s sometime or whatever, I drove him home. He made it to the point where, he had to have bifocals.
Yeah.
But I do remember working with him that summer, and like he was run a machine, run a lathe, and he'd have paper prints. And he was like putting them on the table and going so he could read them. And then he would walk over and do whatever it said.
That's not good.
Yeah. It was pretty bad. But it was so funny when he first got a glass. I'm sure that's a weird adjustment. I went with him. He's like, man, I'm glad you're here to drive me because this is like being drunk. Just getting used to that line in between the bifocals or whatever.
Have a good day.
See ya, Anna. Take care.
Here is something you might not have known about Jake Gyllenhaal. He is legally blind. And when I say legally blind, he is blind. Matter of fact, it's a number that didn't even know was a real number. And my eyes were bad. I was a big blurry E before I had LASIK, and it's kind of reverted back to that. It's like I need to do it again. Mine weren't even close to where how bad his is.
Right.
And it's been that way his whole life. His vision is 20 over 1250. So 20 over 1,250. You know, you hear a lot of times 2020.
Yeah, right.
No, his is 20, 1,250.
Right.
It is bad.
That's a big number. I know bigger is worse. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's as big as I've ever heard.
I was big blurry E, and I think it was like 800 or something.
Which is pretty
like
bad.
that.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible, isn't it?
Yes.
20 over 800 is pretty
it was
terrible.
not good.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody with numbers that terrible. As far as
I haven't.
Yeah?
Apparently, since he was 6 years old, he's had to wear either intensive corrective lenses or Coke bottle glasses to see. He even used to have a lazy eye.
Really?
But he's corrected it himself.
Wow.
He said, still, it's not that bad. He says, quote, I think it's advantageous.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He says, I've never known anything else. I've just always not been able to see.
Sure.
When I can't see in the morning, before I put on my glasses, he says I can just kind of be with myself because you can't see anything. So it is just kind of you.
Guess that's a really positive way to spin it, I suppose.
Jake, they say, has even used blindness at work. Now I'm going to have to go back and watch this scene in the movie, or at least look it up. The movie Southpaw in 2015, where he plays a boxer or a fighter. He apparently removed his. If you've not seen Southpaw and you want to, I'm gonna give you. I'm saying a spoiler here.
Fair warning here. Spoiler alert.
He removed his lenses for a scene where his character finds out his wife has died.
Okay.
And he did that in order to force himself to listen more closely. So he's got that out. So you see him reacting like more real because he can't see. So it looks more intense. So now I got to watch that scene.
Huh. Interesting. As many movies as he'd been, I would have never guessed this guy's legally blind.
And I'm thinking, you put Coke bottle glasses on Jake, completely changes him. He's not the Hollywood darling that everybody,
Not the
says he is.
heartthrob that that he's made out to be. Maybe not. Yeah.
Glasses are kind of in now.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true.
They keep telling me that.
Yeah.
And I'm going, yeah, whatever. You're
No,
just trying
for
to make
real,
me
man.
feel-
People are buying fake ones that don't need them. They're
Yeah, I
they're
know.
so in.
Yeah, you people disgust me. You wouldn't do that if you needed them.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's Rich Glitter.
This is not headline news. Today is National Drive-In Movie Day, also known as National Pay for Two Movies but Watch the Second One Alone while the kids snore away in the hatchback. Paul Giamatti turns 57 today. Man, that guy never ages. He's looked 57 for the last 30 years. Born in the USA came out 40 years ago. It remains Bruce Springsteen's most popular request, other than stop wearing skinny jeans. And Pat Sajak, retiring from Wheel of Fortune, says he'll spend retirement playing with his grandkids. In other words, he'll do as his fans have been doing for the last 30 years. This is not headline news.
Well, me and Bobby really aren't skinny pants guys.
No,
Our bodies aren't made for skinny pants.
no. I've never really been into that whole thing.
I could blind people today.
Shorts on.
I got shorts on. Look at that. Look how white that looks.
Have you not been wearing them on the golf course?
Yeah, my legs never tan.
I've been wearing my shorts and I've got a good tan going on.
They are
Knee
white.
down.
They are white or burnt.
I'm lucky in that regard, I guess. I usually do burn once.
Well,
and after that,
you got to think I've been out on the golf course a lot.
Mhm.
That's way different.
Yeah.
It's just my legs.
I've got the weirdest.
I think so.
Got the weirdest farmer's tan kind of thing. Knees up, and then
Yeah.
it's so
See, I don't.
so drastic here because I never wear sleeveless or tank tops or anything like that.
Yeah, it's a weird. My legs have always. It's like I've got some kind of anti-reflective hair
Yeah,
on my legs
must
that
be.
won't allow it to come in,
Huh.
unless it's like direct for hours, and then I burn. It won't tan. It doesn't change color.
Huh.
It changes a little bit because if you can believe, I think my feet might be a tad bit wider.
Sure. Yeah. I'm sure it does some, but
So I'm kind of reflective colored.
must be. But your arms will.
Yeah.
Your arms will get tan.
I don't know.
Your head, you keep that covered pretty well.
I keep the head covered. I've burned it. That's the one place you don't want to burn.
He went to the ball game with me last weekend for a little while. He was going to try to watch my daughter play for a minute, but he dropped me off and all this. But he was like, I can only stay so long because I don't have a hat or anything, you know. And then it turns out she wasn't going to play for hours. So
Yeah.
so he left. I don't blame him
That's
at
why I
all.
was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I heard it'll be like 1 o'clock. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh, never mind.
it's like 10:30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, but
I didn't blame
I'll come
him.
back another time.
No way. I don't blame you at all. And it was maybe a touch after, I think, by the time they got started. Full day. So you got to meet some of our other friends that
Yeah.
are parents
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Got to do that.
But yeah, when I found out it was 2.5 hours before she was playing, I was like,
Man, the pictures the one couple had from the Bahamas, that looked freaking nice, didn't
yes. Yes.
it? Wow.
Heating and air guy. I bet so. I bet he
Yeah.
farmer tan, that whole
Oh, yeah.
mine's not.
And he's not even into I mean, I'm sure he's been busy already because everybody's kicking air on his stuff.
That's the crazy thing is I've played a lot this summer
Mhm.
and it's different, but not really a lot.
Yeah, mine's pretty drastic. The sock line one is the funniest one, I think, because it is like so clear cut. You know,
Right.
I never am in flip flops. It's always a tennis shoe or whatever with the sock. It looks like I'm still wearing white socks
Yeah.
when I take my shoe off.
Are you still wearing a shirt?
Yeah, right. That too. That's what my kids have always gotten the biggest laugh out of is me lifting up my shirt and putting my arm next to that because it's like a two-tone car. I
And
bet.
have a good day,
Take care, Anna. See ya.
everybody. Thanks for joining.